Hello and welcome to the We Should Move Here Travels podcast. My name is Brittany
I'm Josh.
and we are your hosts. Today, we are going to be talking about our top tours that we have ever done. When I say that combining all of our tours together and creating a list of the best ones was hard, that is not an understatement. It was incredibly hard to decide because we have done some amazing tours.
Looking back from all of our travels, all the way back to our first international trip to Italy until our most recent travel to Portugal, I thought for sure I'd be like, oh, there's going to be a couple that have to make a top 10. And then I started going through all of them and it was like,
No, it's crazy. We've done so many tours. We were going through like honorable mentions, and there has to be like 25 that I wanted in there. And we were like, okay, how do we break down even just the honorable mentions?
right. We had to narrow down an honorable mention list. And I think we pretty much put every single tour onto this list that we've done.
No, I skipped some on this list
Did you
that
really?
I had found. Yeah,
Oh.
like I didn't. Well, we're not going to talk about the bad tours. Anyways.
But it was a hard process nonetheless to get it narrowed down.
It was an incredibly hard process, harder than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But then I look at this list because we still have all of the tours on our document that we're looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at this list and I think to myself, wow, that is a lot of memories. That is so many memories that we have made. And I find that tours are such a great way to explore a city, especially food tours. We love food tours, and this is a food podcast, so a lot of these are food tours.
It has to be. It has to be.
Japan tours definitely have an unfair advantage.
Japan for us is such an outlier country, I think, compared to all of the other places we've gone to.
Agreed.
Like a lower fluent English speaking country. So then having a tour makes it even more important to go to new places.
Mm-hmm.
And then also such a unique and different food culture and different culture in general from anywhere else we've been.
It was the biggest cultural shift that I think we've seen on our travels together.
And narrowing down and just picking, I think, one or two, maybe three tours from Japan, even though we did so many while we were there.
And every single one was so superb. Like it was such a great tour, every single tour we did there.
Mm-hmm.
I think also like customer service and just being kind to visitors in Japan is so important in Japanese culture.
Yeah.
So I think that really pulls through in these tours as well.
We also were saying when we were talking about this, how Italy has such an unfair advantage as well, because it kicked off our international travels and it was such an impactful trip for us as a young traveling couple.
That was an incredibly impactful trip. I mean, we talked about last episode, our argument in Mandela Delario, but the entire trip itself, I think, just really pushed our relationship to the next level. I'm really grateful for Italy and everything we experienced there because if we didn't go, like, who knows? I mean, I'm sure we would still be tight, but we're very tight.
Yeah.
So.
We're so tight.
We're so tight. We're like besties. We are.
We are. I just love how you said that.
Anyways, should we start with the honorable mentions?
We absolutely should. Yes. And like we said, this is just a condensed small list of all the others that we have. You can go onto our website and see all the tours or almost all the tours we have done through each city or each country that we've been to just by clicking there. But these are just ones that we've narrowed down.
Yes, please do that because it honestly breaks my heart not to put some of the tours that I wanted to in this list. But we had to cut some out for time and we can't just keep dropping a bunch of tours onto your lap when none of them make any sense to you right now. But if you go to these places, please do these tours because they're amazing.
Yep.
Anyways, honorable mentions.
In no particular order, we have Utrecht Walking Food Tour, which was a vegan food tour, which we did not know when we initially booked it or just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, we did not know, but it was an incredible tour. We loved it.
Absolutely fantastic. Netherlands food culture and food scene is wonderful, and Utrecht is such a foodie place to go. Even though this was a vegan food tour, we went back to a couple places on the tour after we did it.
Yeah, there was the burger spot where we had the vegan burger.
Yep.
It was so delicious. It was like super juicy, and what was it? I think a chipotle like aioli. Oh my gosh. It melted in your mouth. Everything was so wonderfully crafted in this place. Definitely got to check it out.
Absolutely fantastic.
Wasn't it like Copper Branch or something like that?
Yeah, copper, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. See, it's so impactful. I can just remember it off the top of my head because it was so good and we went back. Next honorable mention we have is Pike Place Market tours. We've done a couple different ones and each one has been so good. So I wouldn't dare to assume to know the best one. However, they were all incredible. And Pike Place Market is such a special place in Seattle. So you definitely have to check it out. And through a tour, you get to try so many different foods and you get to try them at smaller portions so you can eat more and try more things. So highly recommend that.
Plus, Pike Place Market has multiple levels to it. And my parents just went there recently to visit some other family members. And I think they said they spent an entire day on the first level. They even make it to the other levels, which is very common. But through a tour, you get a little bit of the different levels to kind of help you out. So if you're there for a couple days, you know what you're doing.
And Pike Place Market, it just feels like a community-centered place. It is such a vibe. I mean, when you go down and they throw the fish, like that's a very famous thing is throwing the fish in Pike Place Market. I think you have to buy a fish to catch it. It's so fun to watch and it's such a vibe.
It's a great environment to be in for sure. Another one that we did in Sweden was the Vasa Museum guided tour.
That was such a great one.
Just a fantastic history tour. You will notice that there are not a lot of sightseeing or activity tours, stuff like that. It's mostly food. So this one being on here, taking a place of a food tour when this is a food podcast, it was amazing. You can get tours directly through the museum. You can get them, book them through TripAdvisor or Viator. Any place. I'm sure it's fantastic to have a guide to go through because there's so much in there, more than just the massive ship.
Yes. Our guide's name was Gaia, and she was wonderful. I absolutely loved her. She explained everything and answered questions. I had a lot of questions about the ship. So it's a Viking ship that was naturally preserved underwater for 300 years. Which is, I mean, if you think about a ship being underwater for 300 years, you're like, it's probably like moldy and disgusting or like broken apart or like, how did water preserve it? And she goes through it all. It's really incredible. Such a great museum. This one kind of turned us into museum people a little bit more.
I think so. We definitely went on a few more history tours, got us into art a little bit too, just because it was so beautiful. And they do have some art pieces in there as well.
Yeah.
Definitely something that if you go to Sweden, if you're in Stockholm, got to check it out.
Absolutely. Next honorable mention we have is the Rome Sites by Segway tour. This was great. I loved it. So this was on our first international trip. I've never done a Segway before and I was a little nervous. We did see a couple people wipe out. So if you are not coordinated, maybe this isn't the tour for you. It was so fun to just like cruise along in Rome and see the Colosseum and see everything by Segway.
Mm-hmm.
That was such a great way to do it, and it was so fun. It felt like we were exploring in a way that we've never done before, which I love.
This is a great way if you only have a day or two in Rome, which we pretty much suggest anyways. So if you
Mhm.
want to listen to some of our first episodes on Italy, go back and listen to those. But if you only have a day or two in Rome, this is one of the ways to see a lot of Rome in just a few hours and get a good overview, get the highlights, the tourist attractions in a short period of time.
Yeah. There are so many other cities in Italy to check out. So,
Mhm.
I mean, you're gonna be in Rome probably for wherever you land. Probably. It's usually the most inexpensive option to land in Rome.
Yeah.
So maybe just stay there for like a day and then go check out another city. But that day, do the Segway tour.
Yeah. The last one on our honorable mention list is the Nordic Food Walk in Stockholm.
Hmm.
Really great food tour, good variety of different meats, different fish, different drinks. Really loved it, really enjoyed it. This was a tour, I think one of two tours that we did in Stockholm.
We actually did like 5 tours there.
Did we really?
Yeah, we
Oh,
did
man.
the Vasa, the Fika tour, the Nordic Food Walk, the Ghost Walk with the theatrical guide,
Oh, yeah.
and then we did another walking food tour. But
I
this
do
one was the best.
Yeah, I do believe this was the best food tour that we did.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we did try on this tour some disgusting licorice.
Oh, yeah. Ugh.
It was so gross,
Yeah.
but I'm glad that we tried it because we never will again.
Yeah. But it was an experience for sure.
It was an experience, and maybe I shouldn't call it disgusting. Maybe that's insensitive. Um,
One that you did not like.
one I did not like, and a lot of people did not like
Mhm.
it or appreciate it. But we got to have Swedish meatballs. We got to have, do you remember the fish stew?
Mhm.
That was great.
Yes,
You loved that.
I did.
Hmm.
Lot of good variety of food on that tour.
Yeah, very, very great tour. And the guide was great too. All right. So those are our 5 honorable mentions. Like we said, I would love to add more. If you want us to talk about more tours, we have so many more that we've done.
Mhm.
So just let us know that that's something that you want us to talk about, and we would be happy to do it. Let's talk about our top 10
Yes.
tours.
So, at the number 10 spot on our top 10 tours, we have the full day winemakers tour in Marlborough, New Zealand.
Yes. Ugh, this was an incredible tour.
Mhm.
We had so much fun on this tour, and we got to check out, I think it was 4 different vineyards. And the backdrops of these vineyards are insane. They're so beautiful.
I think that is New Zealand in general. Most of it is absolutely stunning. But yes, the Marlborough region, fantastic wines and beautiful landscapes.
Gorgeous.
And then, I mean, getting to do this tour in a bus that takes you around so you don't have to worry about driving or figuring out how to get to the next place or getting back to your hotel
Mhm.
was perfect. We got picked up at our hotel, dropped off at our hotel, got to have several different tastings at each place. We got to have a fantastic lunch at one of the places. Brittany's favorite wine is Sauvignon Blanc, and Marlborough region is well known for it, but also several other kinds of wines. So this was a great overview of the entire region.
It really was. And we got to have lunch at a local vineyard,
Mhm.
and the lunch was delicious.
Mhm.
at that same vineyard, we have some gorgeous pictures. And then there was another vineyard that we went to that had kind of like a canopy of vines.
Mhm.
It was incredible. It was unlike anything I've seen. And I think it was just for photos. I don't think they use those grapes for anything. And they're like old vines that they don't use. But it was so, so fun.
Mhm.
I loved this tour.
This was a trip. If you didn't listen to our New Zealand episodes, we had Brittany's mom, Vicky, with us, and I believe she thoroughly enjoyed it as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
There's a picture of her that we have here that I just love under the canopy of the
Mhm.
vines. She looks so happy.
Yeah.
And we just had so much fun with her on this whole trip, but really, like, this tour was great.
Fantastic.
In the number 9 spot, we have the 5-course dinner history and food in Old Quebec City tour. This was great. We actually, on this tour, found our favorite restaurant that we have ever been to, which is Le Clan
Mhm.
in Old Quebec City. Really incredible restaurant, but this tour takes you around to different spots and they're kind of higher end meals, but in smaller portions so you can have more or taste more, which I loved. And then we made the reservation for Le Clan, I think the day after this tour.
It was great food, a little sprinkle of history throughout the tour as well. And we went to Old Quebec City in the winter, so it was kind of Christmas markets in the air. It was a wonderful time to go.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Mhm.
I had the best time. I remember on this tour, we did go to a brewery and it
Mhm.
was some really great beer. And then we went to this place that cooked shrimp tableside.
Mhm.
And then the server gave it to us right after he cooked it. And it was incredible. It was so delicious. It was really buttery. It was amazing, well seasoned, everything. And then I think we ended at Le Clan.
Yep, Le Clan was the last one we went to.
So great.
Yeah, you just reminded me of the brewery one of that. I think we had like a French onion soup that was made with the beer.
Yeah.
It was
God, we
delicious.
have to go back and do this tour now. It's not that far away from us.
No.
Like, we could
Well,
easily do it.
it's kind of far.
Compared to all of the other tours, this is the closest.
That's true.
We could easily do it again.
Number 8 on the list, we have the Kuromon Market Food Tour in Osaka, Japan.
This one was amazing as well.
Mhm.
You're going to hear amazing a lot in this episode because just these tours.
Was this our first one in Japan? Yeah.
Mhm.
Our first Japan food tour. Definitely needed it. Definitely a great way to kick off our trip in Japan. We just love markets in general, and Japan is chock full of them. And it was really nice to have a tour guide take us through and hit up the highlights of this market. And this is where I believe we had pufferfish.
It might be.
Yeah.
I don't remember. But when I look back at the photo of us together in the market, I can't help but think we get engaged the day after, and I have no idea. You know,
Yes.
I have no idea.
Oh, such a special trip, such a special tour. I don't know if you can go wrong with a tour in Japan anywhere you go. Osaka is a big major city, and having a tour guide for a food tour there, I think, is essential, especially if it's your first time going.
Yeah, this was also a really interesting food tour guide as well because he showed us a lot more to the city
Mhm.
than I think we had initially anticipated. If you haven't listened to the episode, I think it's a pretty good episode. So go back and listen to our Japan episode. You'll hear a little bit more about the tour guide and where he took us.
Yeah.
But this was a great tour. I would highly recommend it. In our number 7 spot, we have Rotorua Canopy Tours Ziplining. What an interesting tour for us. We've never done anything like it before. Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. I had a blast. I was really nervous, but after maybe like one or two zip lines, I felt way more comfortable and I was like, okay, let's go for it. I started to feel that way, and then we had the longest one, and I was like, oh shit. But we were like over the trees,
Mhm.
and it was so beautiful, and it was a great day for it. It was very sunny, not too warm. It was beautiful. It was meant to be. It was perfect.
It was perfect. It was definitely more fun than I had anticipated. Not a huge heights person, not a huge, like, adventure sports person
Yeah.
either. I would say zipline could be thought of as that if you're not a big adrenaline rush person,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed myself.
I did too. And I think my mom had a blast as well. She loves this stuff.
Yes.
So she had such a good time. But I think it was fun for her to see us do this as
Mhm.
well because it's so out of our element. But that was a great tour. I would highly recommend them as well because I was so nervous. They made a lot of jokes and like kept it pretty like calm and
Mhm.
relaxing, even though I was like really nervous.
Yeah, the guides for it were excellent.
I agree. Yeah.
Mm. Our number 6 is the Tokyo Night Foodie Tour. Again, being in Japan, don't think you can go wrong with any foodie tour anywhere. In Tokyo, I think it goes without saying that if you're going there for the first time, you need to do a food tour or a foodie tour to get your bearings on what all is available. And even that tour won't be able to even scratch the surface.
No, 100% though, you have to do a food tour in Japan. We had tried some things on several tours that I was like, I would never even think about ordering this.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad that we did these. On this tour, we had the best salmon I've ever had in my life. It was so buttery. I'm looking at the picture right now and I just want to shove it in my mouth. It's so good. And then we also learned how to eat sushi in the correct way or in the traditional Japanese way. And then we got Wagyu beef with true wasabi on top. Now, what we know as wasabi in the States is not real wasabi. Real wasabi has a totally different flavor and doesn't have the added horseradish that is in the wasabi in the States. So I really loved the wasabi there. I can't wait to go back. I think I will probably bring jars of it home because I loved it so much there. But the Wagyu was also incredible. And we ended in a Japanese candy store. That was so fun.
Mhm.
That was such a fun experience. I couldn't read anything on the candies, so I just like kind of grabbed random shit and tried it all. I think you did the same.
Yeah, I just went for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of it was really interesting.
It was very unique, kind of what you're hoping for on a food tour. You're hoping to get some unique flavors and go to places you would never think of going. That way you get a great experience and more knowledge of, what's available around you.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through and looking at all the pictures from this food tour, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then I came to a tour that I think should be on the honorable mention that we don't really have, but I was
Oh.
going to say the making of Harry Potter.
Oh my gosh, that should be an honorable mention.
Hmm.
That was a great tour.
Hmm.
And that was in Tokyo.
Hmm.
It was pretty accessible and easy to get to
Very
because the train system is so
incredible.
easy. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say easy, but they have a really great train system. And
Yeah.
if you can understand how to work it, unlike us,
We figured it out. Don't sell us short.
eventually we figured it out.
Mhm.
But we got there and it was so much fun. We had the whole day to explore. It felt like we were inside of Hogwarts, inside of Harry Potter. Like it was just incredible. And they had so many props from the movies.
Mhm.
It was great. Yeah. That should be on our honorable mentions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the episode now, so it might as well
Yeah.
be.
In our number 5 spot, this is a really special one. So we have the Cloudy Bay First Taste Tour. This was an incredible moment for all of us. My mom and I have been drinking Cloudy Bay Sauvignon Blanc for years and years. She got me onto it. She's been drinking it like her whole life, basically, her whole adult life. And to get to go to all of the vineyards and explore with our own guide in our small 3-person group, it was so great. It was a magical experience. We found out so many things about ourselves, so many things about the Sauvignon Blanc that we love, and so many things about Cloudy Bay and why it is so special. I just really recommend this one. Cloudy Bay is still in my number 1 spot for wine. And we've been to Italy and Portugal and, the wine spots around the world. And Cloudy Bay just goes above and beyond, I think, anything I've ever tasted. So we also got to try their Pinot Noir and their reserves, which were incredible. The tastings were truly just amazing. We spent way too much money on wine and we bought some to get shipped back home. It was such an incredible experience. Highly recommend. Plus, we just hung out there all day and drank wine and just had like the best day of our lives, basically.
It was a really great day for the 3 of us. I was so happy to be there with you and your mom. I have not always been a huge wine person. You've definitely turned me into that since we've been together. And I was skeptical of Cloudy Bay. I'm like, oh, it's like this big brand wine. But after doing not only this tour, but the other wine tour that we had just mentioned for Marlborough, I believe that they do a fantastic job at Cloudy Bay with wines. And every time you do a wine tour with the winery and they tell you about, the grapes and everything that goes into growing them and picking the grapes and bottling, making the wine, everything is just a great learning experience. Plus, then you get to taste the wine.
Yeah.
And then like you said, we spent the day at Cloudy Bay and we had lunch at Saku, not a part of the tour, but a great way to round out the day and like end the tour.
I am almost feeling like this tour should be higher up on the list. I think we fucked up a little bit.
No, I think it's in a good spot.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because the next one on our tour, I do believe belongs ahead of Cloudy Bay First Taste Tour. This tour at the number 4 spot was the Douro Valley wine tour that we just did while we were in Portugal.
It was so beautiful. I didn't even know that the Douro Valley existed, and I should be ashamed of myself because it was so incredible. The wine was great. There's so many different wines that they make in the Douro Valley. And when you think of Portugal, maybe you think of port wine, which is great, but they have so many other wines to offer as well. So this tour really took you around the Douro Valley and you got to explore all of their different wines. Maybe not all of them, but a general highlight of them. And we did buy a bottle of, I think, port, and it is currently aging.
Yeah.
In our makeshift wine cellar. Which is really just like on top of
just
a cabinet.
Yeah, in the dark in the shelf. Obviously a great wine tour. We also got to have some coffee along the way, some olive oil, lunch. Like you said, the port wine, of course, is amazing. We got to learn so much about Portugal wine. Being that Portugal is such an old and densely historic country, they taught us about how its wine reaches into a lot of the other wine regions of the
Yeah.
world, like Germany's and France's,
Mhm.
Spain, Italy. It's got its kind of fingerprints and DNA throughout all of those, the way they explained it to us, which was really cool.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it was. We learned a lot and we got a really incredible lunch
Hmm.
as well.
Yeah, a really great tour, a great way to see the Douro Valley, which is absolutely stunning.
Mhm.
Got to go on a boat ride while we were out there. And I mean, we drank an absolute shit ton of wine.
I mean, on the whole trip we did, but when you're in Portugal, you're gonna like, it's gonna happen. I mean, if you don't want to, then obviously don't, but
But if you love wine
yeah,
and Portugal hasn't been on your radar, it needs to be.
it should be. Yeah.
Definitely. And any sort of Douro Valley wine tour would probably be amazing. We definitely talked to some people who had said you should stay in the Douro Valley, and that might be something in the future that we look into if we ever get a chance to go back and spend significant amount of time there, because it really was incredible.
Absolutely. It was beautiful. I would love to stay there.
Hmm.
You had really wanted to stay there, but it was so like logistically, it was going to be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So
Our whole Portugal trip worked out
it did.
because it's so fresh in our minds. We're talking about it because it was so recent, just, in the last 2.5 months. So,
Yeah.
um,
But it's crazy that, I mean, one of the tours that we literally just did made a number 4 spot.
yeah,
That says a lot about the tour.
yeah, absolutely.
It was great. Our number 3 spot is another Italy tour. And this one is a small group Tuscany wine tasting trip from Siena. We had stayed in Siena and they picked us up from the city center. It was an incredible tour. We got to travel all throughout Tuscany to different vineyards, and we had a family style lunch at a local vineyard that felt like a family was welcoming us into their home. It was so beautiful. I mean, this vineyard lives rent free in my mind. It was incredible, and the lunch was amazing. I think we got a bottle of olive oil from them.
We did.
Oh my gosh. It was such a great tour. We went to, I think, 3 or 4 different vineyards. And the first one, we walked down this spiral where it was like naturally cooled, which
Yeah.
was really nice because it was a hot day.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very hot day. I do remember being in the back of the van and the AC was not working great.
Yeah.
But that's Italy for you.
Another tour, very much like Douro Valley, where the scenery is half the tour. Just getting to see everything was so gorgeous. Met some wonderful people on the tour, some fantastic wineries. You mentioned that one. The one that sticks out in my mind was the completely organic vineyard,
Oh,
where they had actually kind of pioneered some of the organic practices in Italy, and they had done presentations at like local like wine conferences and stuff like that, and shared information to other vineyards about how they could be more sustainable and more organic. So I really enjoyed that. The whole tour was great.
yeah. We got a bottle from that vineyard as well.
Hmm.
And I believe that one is still aging.
Yeah, I believe we have 2 bottles that we got from the tour that are still aging.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's incredible. I love that for us.
Yeah.
Maybe on a anniversary, we'll crack it open.
Yeah, sometime for sure.
We have so many bottles of wine now.
We don't have that many. I think we probably got 6, I think.
But it says a lot if we buy a bottle from a vineyard because we don't have like a huge collection,
Hmm.
which we eventually probably will, honestly. But, but because we don't right now and we have to limit what we take home, usually we don't ship wine home because that's crazy expensive.
Hmm.
But I think it says a lot if we buy a bottle from a vineyard that we loved the wine.
No. On our number 2 spot of our top 10 tours that we've taken is the Kyoto Sake Brewery Tour. I just realized we got a lot of drinks on this tour.
We do. We do. But you know what? It's okay.
We preface the whole episode with how unique Japan is for our experiences so far, and that's why we have so many of Japan on this list. Now, sake is such a unique and different drink than I think from any other alcoholic beverage you could have. If you go into it blind,
Mm-hmm.
you could easily be overwhelmed and have no idea what to do, how to order it, what's good, what's not good.
Yeah, you're not going to know the flavor profiles. You're not going to know what you like. You're probably going to try a sake and be like, nope, that's not for me. But there are so many different kinds of sake, and you get to taste them and learn about them on this tour.
Mhm.
I love sake, and I did not know that until this tour.
They did such a good job taking us through the brewery, explain the process, the
Mhm.
different amount of milling and polishing that creates the different kind of profiles for sake, where the water comes from. Just everything about it was so informative and cool, and the history of it that's sprinkled throughout. Japan's history is amazing. It's impossible, I think, to describe unless you're taking a sip of sake and be like, oh, this is just something so unique and fun. And we tried sake beforehand at a place in Canada, actually. And we were like, oh, this is interesting. And I think that's really where we were like, we definitely got to go to Japan.
Mhm.
And then when we did this, we're like, oh my gosh, we love sake.
Yeah. We were like, we're obsessed with sake now. We're going to be insufferable when we go home.
Yeah. Not that we weren't already, but just a little more insufferable.
No, it's good to know what you like. This tour really helped us understand sake more, and I would highly recommend this tour as well, especially if you're just curious about sake.
Yeah.
Maybe you've had it like once and you're like, oh, I don't know. But this is really good sake that they give you, and they explain the flavor profiles really well. I think you get to try like 8 of them.
Oh, at least I have a picture of it, and I think we got some refills,
Mm-hmm.
and we went through, several different varieties with different flavor profiles, and we got to rank them. So they really do, like you said, help you narrow down
Yeah.
what's something that kind of fits you, and then if you have something with food, what it goes with.
Mm-hmm.
I know you and me, we have, I think, a card or 2 on our fridge
We do.
of that they gave us. Like, these are, like, the flavor profiles and, like, the polishing and what that all looks like, what's good sake, what's kinda cheaper made sake.
Yeah. Okay. We are on to our number 1 spot.
Mhm.
This one felt easier to place
I
because it just stands out.
I was gonna say the exact same thing when we decided to do this as an episode. I was like, "This is it."
Yeah.
What a great way to mark our 50th episode is to create a top 10 of tours and have this as our number 1.
Oh, that's so special. I didn't even think about it like that. Yeah. So, our number 1 tour, I've actually done twice.
I am a little bitter.
I did it once with you and then once with my mom when we went to Venice. So, this tour is Venice Like a Local. It is an incredible tour. The guide is so kind, and she gives you so much historical information, not only about Venice, but the food that you're trying as well. And I love that in a tour. You get to explore the city through food. This is like the OG one that we've done that just nothing really compares to it because it's so amazing. I mean, this was a great tour.
Our first one as a couple internationally. I think maybe a little more so for you if I'm incorrect. Make sure you correct me, but kind of forced you to be a little more adventurous
Yeah. Oh, for
with
sure.
food.
Yeah. Well, you had tried the squid ink on this one. There were a couple of different fish dishes that I was unsure about, but tried and either liked them or you ate them. And then we also got an amazing dessert and risotto. It was just such a good tour. And then you also get to go into the oldest bar in Venice. And it's a really cool vibe in there. Like you can see how old it is and just how much history is living inside of it. Just in general, Venice is such a cool historical spot. I just can't say this enough. It's so impactful to learn about a city through food because you're not just eating the food. You're learning about culture. You're learning about the families who have kept this food in the culture for years and years. And there's traditions with food. There's so much that you talk about or that can be talked about with the food that you're trying. And the person who runs this tour, the guide, she does an incredible job walking you through all of that. So highly, highly suggest this tour if you are going to Venice.
For it to be in our number one spot, even though we've been to all these other places throughout the world, and this was, again, our first tour as a couple internationally, I just think says so much about it.
It does. Yeah.
Because it could have really easily been a downer and a letdown, or it could have really easily been overshadowed by something new, by something we did when we went to Japan or Canada or Scotland or wherever else in the world. But it stayed right here in number one.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is also maybe it's unfair to put this one at number one because it was such a monumental moment for us as well, just as a couple, our first international trip and that being so special. And this was our first food tour on our first international trip. But I also think this is the food tour that made us fall in love with food tours, not only with food tours, but with Venice. This is the food tour that did that, at least for me.
I think when you do any sort of tour, whether it's a drink tour, food tour, history tour, the canopy tours, doing some sort of activity, you want it to help you feel something. You want it to help you experience something, understand something. I think even though it was our first international one, it had a huge impact on us.
Yeah.
And even though maybe it's unfair advantage that it was the first one, but again, it still gave us that feeling. It could have easily not gave us that feeling. It could have easily not made us feel special, or it could have easily not gave us information to make us feel like we understood a little bit more about Venice.
Yeah.
But it did that.
Yeah, it did. I don't know if I would say that it made us feel special, but I think it made Venice feel special.
Absolutely.
I think Venice was so highlighted. And it might be weird to say that Venice was so highlighted on a Venice food tour, but we've been on some food tours where the city is not really well highlighted. And this one was just, it was so great. All other tours should be like this tour. They can all learn from this tour.
Take the template of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And also take the tour and learn from how the guide walks you through the city, talks about the city, and talks about the food and the families who make the food and the traditions with all of the food. Just everything. Incredible. Great tour. Go take it.
Yeah. I think that's kind of what you were saying. Some of the ones that we have here are good copies of each other, as in, like, they kind of have the same cadence of a tour. like the Siena wine tasting tour and the Douro Valley tour, very kind of similar structures, and it works very well.
It does. It works very well. Those two tours in general, I think they're in our top 10, not only because they're amazing and great wine and just a great tour overall, but the beauty in those tours really set it apart from others.
Yeah.
Because like you're in some of the most beautiful places on earth. And you see that and you're like, holy shit, this is real.
Yeah.
I think even for Venice to be number one over those and the beauty of those tours, that says a lot about this tour. Anything else you would want to add about tours? I mean, there's tons more that we could say because we have so many that we would want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
But the tours that we have talked about, anything more you would want to add?
Man, I think it was something that I was scared of when we went to Italy for the first time. I was like, I've done a few tours. Like, I'm not sure if tours is the right way to go. Like, you can do this stuff for less expensive. And I was kind of thinking of it that way, like a budget thing. Like, is it worth this? And now I'm sold on tours. You're doing so much more than just tasting a few things. And you highlighted that very well. You get history, you get the feeling of, someone's family, the family recipe and history that went into something. If you go into a family restaurant, you get to see it and feel it. I think it's really special, and it's often worth the price you pay. Now, that being said, there are some that we've done where like that wasn't it.
The Munich secret food tour. I didn't say that.
But we have done a lot of tours, and the vast majority of them have been really awesome.
Yeah. We have done some really great tours that were not highlighted today.
Yeah.
And that really breaks my heart. And again, we can't list them all. Go on our website.
I will also say, if there's someone who happens to listen to this and is like, listen to me, I also travel a lot, and this is the best food tour or any tour. It doesn't matter. If you got a tour, you're like, this is the best thing I've ever done, let us know.
Please let us know. I would love to hear somebody say that. And that's just an excuse for us to go travel somewhere.
For sure. For sure. Tours are such a great way to meet other travelers and get suggestions for future tours, future trips. Biggest highlight is when we did the Kyoto sake brewery tour. We ran into a group of young gentlemen from Scotland and gave us a list of things we needed to try while we were in Scotland, places we needed to go or stay. And we didn't get to do all of them. I don't think we got to go to most of the places, but we did do our best to see some of the things they suggested.
Yeah, they did tell us to go to the Isle of Skye, which we did.
Yep.
And everybody has to go there. So it is in my number one spot of where I would like to live for the rest of my life. So
yeah.
And I think your number 2 spot. Yeah. So everybody has to go there. But take turns. Don't all crowd it.
Right.
The cows will get overwhelmed.
The coos.
The coos. Next episode, we will be talking about how to prepare for your first international trip ever. So if you're new to travel, we got you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at WSMH Travels.
You can listen to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. YouTube is where we have our video record version, including pictures and videos from our trip. Please continue to leave your comments and send us messages on what you liked from our trips and suggestions for future trips. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.